Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Welcome into another edition of Inside Automotive right here at the CBT Automotive Network.
CBT News, your number one resource for auto industry news and content. You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining me this morning on another edition of Inside Automotive. Big developments are happening at Cars.com. Here to tell us more about the news is Brian Kramer, Executive Vice President of Cars Commerce, and Joe Neiman, who is the President of DealerClub. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining me on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure. So wow, Brian, big news here. I know the NADA show is a month away. I should say a month in the past, which is forever in the auto industry, but you guys were making some big waves out there. Cars Commerce announced the acquisition of the wholesale marketplace DealerClub. So how does the acquisition of DealerClub fit into the larger Cars Commerce platform?
Well, I think it's a very natural fit, and we're very lucky to have Joe. You know, he had his experience with doing this in the past with D2D marketplaces. So integrating his knowledge with our audience, from our Cars.com audience, our 20,000 dealerships that we're signed up with, the AccuTrade progression, being able to also eventually integrate this with Dealer Inspire websites, and be able to leverage AccuTrade in order to get media solutions, in order to drive more traffic for consumer acquisitions, which is a huge pain point right now. And I think that one of the biggest opportunities in decentralized D2D marketplaces is kind of what Joe came up with, which is being able to put everybody in a very low overhead, low SG&A environment with not a lot of headcount, where dealers can deal with minimal aggravation and exit the vehicles as quickly as they can acquire them through AccuTrade.
And you've been doing a phenomenal job with AccuTrade. I've spoken to a number of your clients on your program. They absolutely love it. And so kudos to you on that. I know you've been crisscrossing the country working with dealers on getting that into dealerships, and you've done a great job there. So, Joe, you've been a dealer and are the founder of ACV Auctions. So you've been working and seen a lot of advancements in the wholesale industry, including a shift away from physical auctions, as Brian kind of touched on there. What's the industry shifting away from physical, or I should say, why are they shifting away from physical auctions, and how is technology disrupting that space?
Yeah, Jim, thanks. When I think about the industry at large, and I was a dealer, as you said, and then decided to go into the auction industry because I saw the opportunity, but really felt the need as a dealer for just a better solution. I love the physical auctions. I've been going since a teenager, and there is some real magic there. But the time requirement to attend these, you basically go north, south, east, or west on a given Tuesday, right. And that means you don't go to another auction that's in the opposite direction. And Dealers really need to be everywhere in order to source appropriately, and they need to be looking for the right inventory, and they need a way to access scale and reach, and that's what the online auction provides. So there's other frustration points. Every time you touch a car, you expose it to risk. Every time it gets loaded on a trailer, every time it gets parked in a new lot where someone could tamper with it or keys can get lost. And just, I think the world has seen now that if we can sell these cars from where they sit, we minimize exposure and risk, we can increase the velocity of the turn time, and DealerClub adds a new element of bringing the seller's reputation to the forefront, which I think is the final piece of the puzzle to truly disrupt.
Right, and it's all about efficiencies now, especially time efficiency with dealers, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no question. Brian, you've been working with dealers to improve how they appraise and acquire used vehicles with AccuTrade, as I mentioned earlier. How do you see DealerClub working with AccuTrade?
Well, I think that it's not even just AccuTrade. I think it's our Cars.com marketplace and being able to enable a lot of the independent dealers as well as the franchise dealers to open up, because I think that there's a there's a critical mass that the franchise dealers typically have more trades that the scrappy independent dealers are better at retailing, and being able to match that up with data is obviously the ideal solution. But with AccuTrade, because of the way the condition reports are built and the way that it's really autonomous, that anybody, it's like paint by numbers for appraisals. You're opening up the amount of appraisals that you can do. And, I witnessed firsthand at NADA, a power user dealer of ours, George Saliba, J&S Auto Sales, acquire a vehicle on AccuTrade, via his leads, and literally retail it in a matter of 30 minutes, or not retail, wholesale it on DealerClub right before my eyes. I watched the whole end-to-end transaction. I think that encapsulates kind of the dealer journey and how easy, and the consumer journey from exit. If you can identify the best end user, you can give clients more, you can be more competitive on their trades.
Right.
You can lose less trades to the bigger aggregators if you're a smaller dealer, with a few rooftops versus somebody with 100 plus, and it allows everybody to have a level playing field.
Yeah, I saw that transaction happen on social media, and I was very impressed with it at the time when I saw it, and I think a lot of people were too. I think thousands of people saw that transaction and said, whoa, that's pretty impressive. So, Joe, I've heard you say that that you can't communicate the true value of a used car unless you're able to tell the whole story of that car. How does DealerClub enable dealers to provide the entire story behind a particular vehicle?
Well, in the world of wholesale, and I learned this early on, but relationships matter.
Yeah.
Relationships are paramount. So when you look at the folks that survive in wholesale and thrive in wholesale, it's because they do good, honest business for the long haul.
Right.
And it's so easy to jump into wholesale and do bad business and get away with it for
That's
a
right.
while. And so what we're looking to do, and what we're really the paradigm shift that we're really on the forefront of here, is to just say enough is enough. There's other platforms where you can go use them as dumping grounds. DealerClub will not be that. We're going to be on the upper end of the echelon, and we're going to empower dealers to build quality relationships and quality reputations for themselves. Because the way I think about it, and always have, is there's always a value. There's always a rough trade. There's always a wholesale average value. Those numbers don't buy cars, though, right? Those are guidance.
That's right.
And so you start there, and then you adjust plus or minus. It's that value. It's MMR, or it's whatever value you want to use, plus or minus the seller's reputation.
Right.
And that's how you get to where the hammer finally falls and what a car actually transacts for. And so what we're trying to re-educate dealers on, because a lot of this, I think, fine art of the auctions got lost over the past decade or so, and the shift away from the physical auctions where people were face to face, belly to belly.
Yeah.
And that relationship and accountability really mattered. And now a lot of that's been masked unintentionally by the shift to online. And we're really trying to bring that back and say, this is one of the most important components. And it really is, it's the great unlocker. Running a profitable wholesale operation is not a dirty word. It doesn't mean that you passed on trades. These are two different things that kind of get jumbled together. But we want to be able to pull that apart. And we just want to say with real conviction that you can get more for your wholesale cars if you run a quality wholesale operation. And we want to teach dealers how to do that. And there's absolute beauty and power between an AccuTrade process coupled with a DealerClub process. And I say process because process really matters. AccuTrade is an unbelievably powerful tool, as is DealerClub, but you have to commit to that process. And anybody that's really running a high performance dealer operation today is doing it because they have process, because their teammates are built in and bought in on that process. So we just want to empower those dealers with the right tools to unlock profit at every point.
Sure. So if in the event you've got an unscrupulous wholesaler out there, is that something that your company will then, DealerClub will step in and say, okay, we got to get this person off the platform?
Absolutely. And it's easy for us to do. When we say DealerClub, think about a country club. People conduct themselves certain ways in certain environments.
Right.
And generally speaking, we're not running into those sort of issues, but if they do come up, we've got easy ways to go and handle those situations. A lot of times it's just a conversation to start, but they get it. But the other thing that's intrinsic in our platform is ratings and reviews.
Yeah.
So, you're not going to go eat dinner with your family at a restaurant that has a 2.7 rating. like my wife's benchmark is a 4.5, which makes it incredibly hard to find restaurants to eat at. But you know pretty quickly who you're dealing with.
There's no question about it.
Those facts don't lie. So really, it's our natural platform, the way it's naturally governed by the users. It rules it weeds these folks out very quickly. Even though, again, they're really not turning to our platform. When we say we're a reputation-based platform, the wrong folks are going to be, they're going to be turned off by that right at the beginning.
Right. So you guys are kind of like the TripAdvisor out there, keeping everybody on the up and up and honest, and those reviews do mean a lot. There's no question about it. Yeah,
they do. They translate into real dollars.
Yeah, no question. So for dealers that are looking to join the platform, what are the keys to successfully getting vehicles in front of dealers where inventory might be a better fit?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I think you've got to use platforms such as DealerClub that have reach, that have the features, the functionality, and also have confident buyers. And that's what we're really focused on delivering, is an environment where dealers feel safe and they feel like they can transact with a low level of risk, a low level of unexpected surprises. They don't want to deal with arbitration. They don't even want to have to get paid for arbitration. They just don't want it in the first place.
Right.
And that's what we're really focused on doing. So listing cars on DealerClub is easy. It's streamlined. Signing up for the site takes all of 15 minutes.
Okay.
And you're in. And then it's really just about doing good business,
right.
and controlling your outcomes, right? We give you the tools, we give you the capabilities to represent the cars the way that you want to represent them, which is a shift in the industry. Everybody's used to third-party condition report writers coming and doing the CRs on those cars. And while that's good in theory, and it does add some value, those folks don't know your car as well as you do. They're not able to drive the car. They're not able to check that car out, or interact rather with the consumer that traded that car in. And that all comes back to, that's part of the story.
Yeah.
So what we believe is you put a little more effort in, you put your hands on that car, maybe have a lot porter drive it down the street and say, yes, it runs and shifts and goes in and out of four-wheel drive and the AC blows cold, and confirm that is the difference of $1,000 or $2,000 on that car when that's put in front of an audience of wholesale buyers that need that level of conviction, whether it's a good car or not, right? And then I think, one last cornerstone of what we do here is we're investing in the dealers in our platform. So instead of charging sellers to sell on the platform, we literally pay them to sell on the platform, which is a real paradigm shift, because we believe if you're going to put a little more effort in to bring your cars to market, you deserve to be rewarded. So instead of staffing up a giant inspection team and having to deal with the arbitrations, we mitigate all that, and that provides us the ability to really just directly pay a seller for listing on the platform and selling on the platform.
Yeah. And then does DealerClub also set up the transportation of that vehicle?
Yes, we do. So full service auction here. We're integrated with all the floor plans. We handle the payments. We handle the titles, and we handle transport as well.
Wow. I don't know why a dealer wouldn't try this out. So that's just me. I'm putting my dealer hat on. So Brian, I'll give you the last word on this. What do you want the dealers to know?
That it doesn't just end there. We're actually building out a really exciting dashboard in the back end of Cars Commerce for all of these properties to be able to simply navigate through everything. And we're going to be able to harness not just the audience data and be able to activate, where's the best end user, where can you use like our automation rules in AccuTrade to identify who is the best at selling a particular car. You're in South Florida, and that if somebody's looking for exotics, the collection is one of the top. They're widely known across the country, but there's pockets of those all around. The off-lease only used to be the best at selling, vehicles that had maybe one or two or three bad Carfaxes.
Sure.
we'll have that data readily available to share that in a way that's never been shared before.
Nice.
To identify trends, what's trending up, what's trending down. So we're really going to pull the curtain back. It's going to be really, really exciting.
That is fantastic. Well, congratulations to both of you on this incredible acquisition, and it sounds like a phenomenal opportunity here for dealers. So dealers that are listening, this is your opportunity to check it out. DealerClub.com, is that the site?
You got it.
Okay,
Yep.
you're just a click away, dealers, from getting the whole story and trying this phenomenal new platform out. I highly recommend you do just that. You heard right from the horse's mouth here as to how it can change your life in acquiring vehicles. So gentlemen, Brian Kramer, Executive Vice President, Cars Commerce, and Joe Neiman, who is the President of Dealer Club. And these two forces have now come together to make a powerhouse platform. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.